Hi, everybody. Well, if you were watching a few minutes ago, we were on live, and then all of a sudden we got a message saying that it wasn't broadcasting. They were having an internal problem. We were using a platform called Be Live, and something happened to it. So I'm so sorry about that, but we're back now, and we'll hopefully this time it'll be okay. So I'm going to start all over again. That's
Go
okay.
Ahead.
First of all, tell us where you're watching from. I saw that before we had somebody from Massachusetts and Modesto, California. I know Jean Kittle's watching, and she's in New York, and Sharon is in Arizona. So I know we've got I got moms watching. So I'm so sorry we got kicked off like that. Yeah. I don't know what happened. Yeah. But let us know where you're watching from, and then also let me know if it's your first time, if this is the first time you've watched. And then what we were saying, and like if you've already heard this, there's Tony. Her husband's watching. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
As we were saying before, if you have been in a group or you're in a group now, I would love for you to put in the comments something that you think would encourage another mom who might be on the fence about it. There's a lot of times moms will say, I've been watching for 6 months, and they're kind of afraid of the online thing. So I would love to have you say something to encourage another mom to get into a group, whether it's a local group in their area or an online group. And for those of you who aren't aware, these groups, they last for 10 weeks, and we use a workbook, and amazing things happen in these groups, and healing happens in these groups that, I don't know, Judy, talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying that it's been 4 years since I first did my group, and I'll never forget it. It was an amazing process. I still remember when I came to you saying, hey, I need help for my child, and you're like, no, you don't. You need help for you.
Yeah. You can't help your child.
You can't help her. You can only help you. Yeah. And I said, oh, no, I need to help her. And so eventually I came to the group, and I think I cried the first 3 weeks straight, and it was amazing. It was a lot of relief. It was, I don't know, I can't describe it more than that. And I've led a few after that, and just being connected with women in that environment, and just seeing women come and say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I was able to just talk that out.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, just being able to say it out loud, that things that you've been feeling, things that you've been holding up inside, and just knowing that other people are feeling the same as you is just a huge relief.
It really is, isn't it? I mean, It's like, I always say that, like finding out we're not alone, or being able to share in a group. No one understands this pain but another hurting mom. Right. I mean, we're the only ones who really know what it feels like when we're going through this agony over a child. So to be able to express that and not worry that they're judging us and thinking, well, what'd you do?
Right,
you know,
exactly.
It's just,
or you should do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Or why didn't you try this? Or, you know.
Exactly.
And it's like, well, because we already tried it 15 times and it didn't work. So it's very comforting. I think even like the online, I'm one of those that's kind of afraid of the online thing, but
we're online right now.
I know it's scary, but anyway, I would encourage you, if you do not have one though in your area that you can go to personally, I would encourage you to do the online. I think the experience that I did get to have with some online women who were in a group, and I got to join them when they decided to meet. They were from all over, and they decided to get together and meet, and I think I got to participate in that, and that was really exciting. And I think we instantly connected, even though I wasn't even in their group, you know. And I think just that common bond of, I've been hurt by a child, or I've been in pain because of my child, or, you know, it was just such an amazing process to go through, and to go through the book, go through the process, and then be able to connect with other women. And I think even just for me, having those women together and to be able to go to on a regular basis when something does happen is very helpful as well.
Yeah, it's like I talk about all the time. It's about being in community. This is a community, and we understand each other. And I think you're right. There is like an instant connection, even online. I'm in an online group right now, and it's like these women are so dear to me already. We've only met like 3 times, and so in fact I see Betsy on here now. Hi, Betsy. And so we you just connect. You just know there's a deep level of understanding and connection. And so I can't even say enough about it. And that's why I'm hoping those of you who are in groups, who have been in groups, will write in the comments something that would encourage a mom that may be a little bit scared, a little bit worried about jumping into a group. And again, like you said, especially an online group, but it really is easy, and we walk you through it. You can see each other, you can hear each other. And I will say this, for some people who are like worried about running into somebody they know, in a local group, online you won't. You'll be with people from New York and Canada and Florida and all over the country. Yeah. So I just wanted to get that out there right away. But I want to talk to Judy for a minute about, we want to talk tonight a little bit about how do we stay strong in our faith when the rug gets pulled out from under us again, where we feel like our prayers aren't being answered, or maybe we feel like they have been answered and things are going really well, and then all of a sudden something happens and we're plunged right back into it. So can you share a little bit of your story and kind of tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's been a lot of up and downs with my daughter. Probably, so 4 years ago is when I would say 7 years ago is when it all kind of started. And it was a roller coaster of up and down, and then things are going well. And I think too, I feel like I'm naive because that's like, why didn't I see that it wasn't going well, And then you have all these emotions. You have some anger towards the child. You have, just sadness. And I think before the group, before I got into this, I was just holding all of that inside, and just being able to go to the group. Not that I'm pushing the group again, but it was really helpful to just get those emotions out. But I think it also helped me with what's my part in it?
Yeah.
And our pastor talks a lot about relationships are always two. There's never one. It's always two. Right. So it doesn't matter. There's a part that we have, whether it's 1%, 10%, 50%, it's our part that we can do. So what can I focus on, and how can I respond to my child? How can I respond to myself? How can I respond to my God? Because, I can talk to him and I could tell God, look, I'm really mad that this is happening. I'm really mad that this is something that I thought was going one direction has now switched to another direction. And I think God wants us to talk to him about that. He wants us to share. And the more we focus on our relationship with God, the more we realize he's there for us and he's always with us. Yeah. And just, I was just telling her earlier, it's like, you just don't want to get out of bed. You want to cry. Yeah. You don't want to get out of bed. And I think at that point, if I have my focus, and I keep going back to the verse of seek ye first the kingdom of God. And if I focus on God and on my relationship with him, and not her and what she's doing and how to fix her, and do I need to help her? Should I help her pay rent because she's spending on drugs? I don't, just what is it? And no, she's made her decisions. I need to focus on my decisions. And I think that the more that I focus on my relationship with God and I obey, like I have to say, today was a hard day to get out of bed, and I was just like, okay, God, let's go. Let's get this moving. And he is guiding me. I felt like, honestly, he was pulling me like a little daddy, holding my hand and saying, come on, let's go. Get out of bed. Come on, you can do it. And then I was working on a project at church, and he's like, okay, this is what you're going to do this morning. You're going to go over here before you go to work. And he literally guided me, Yeah. And I think if you don't have that relationship, and we're so, I'm just going to stay in bed. I'm going to pull the covers over my head. I'm going to cry, or I'm not, I don't know. I'm going to get lost in some movie, whatever it is that makes us seem like it feels better. And it's really our own addiction. It's like, well, I think everybody has some kind of addiction, whether it's chocolate or sleep
or a child.
Yes, it could be very true. Doing. Yeah, as a mother, we put so much energy into our children that it's hard to disconnect. It's hard to let go. It's hard to, and then it goes back to, well, now if it's my part, my relationship, what's my reaction? And last night, we have a little group that meets, even though we're done with our group, we meet every couple weeks. And we were reading the we went back. We always go back to the book. So I had my book.
I was looking at the inside of your book. Show them that.
And it's
she's got it's all marked up. She's got notes all over the inside.
Well, I've been through the class a few times, and we're going through it.
You need a new book.
Yeah, and some of us had gone through it a couple times, and we were looking at this one about how to respond to our child, and it was like, oh, yeah, okay, I need to accept, I need to encourage, I need to be honest, I need to be vulnerable, but none of this, it said that I can't be angry. You know, it's how can I channel that anger into, not a sinful way, but into a positive way. And I think, we could still be there for our children without trying to fix them.
Exactly. Joy says she understands this, but it still hurts.
Yeah.
The hurt is still there. But if we focus on the hurt, we never are able to move beyond it if we keep focusing on the hurt. And she asked if we have a group in Indiana. I think there's several groups in Indiana. So if you go to our website, there's a locator map, and you can look and see if there's one in your area.
And I totally agree with it hurts. I still hurt. I hurt.
Yeah, I do too.
And it's hard, especially when your children aren't even, it may not be they're doing drugs or anything. They're just not even following God. And I think that's even a pain. Or, you find out that your child's pregnant and they're not married, and, there's just a lot of different things that it could be. And it's not our best. It's not the best that they could have. And you know that, and you want, your heart aches for that.
Yeah.
And I think having God walk with you is what helps, that comfort, the brokenhearted. I always forget the word.
He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds.
He heals us to give us at least a chance to smile, and he puts us in a position when things do get pulled out from underneath that rug, that it's going to hurt, and we're going to be sad, and it's okay to feel, right?
Yeah.
And I think for me, that was the hardest part. I didn't feel like I had the right to feel sad or mad or angry, because I'm the mom. I'm supposed to fix. I'm not supposed to feel. And so I'm learning how to feel.
It takes us a while to realize that we can't fix. I mean, we try. I'm sure all of you out there can relate to that. We try over and over again. And we, at some point, we usually realize, oh gosh, I can't fix them.
No,
and so that's when we have to take our focus off of them. We were talking earlier about how sometimes we get so focused on our child, and we're praying so hard for them that we miss out on the things that God is doing. I mean, we think he's supposed to answer that one prayer. Well, remember, he's given our kids free will. They make their own choices, just like we make our own choices. Mm-hmm. And so we're praying for a specific thing, for God to do this specific thing in their life, but really that child has to respond to that.
Right.
And so, but then in the meanwhile, God might be doing other things in your life, in the life of your other children. And we miss out on that because we are so focused on the one. Yeah. And so I want to encourage moms to be watching for God. He's always around. Be watching.
Yeah. And I think somebody made a comment too about praying constantly. I mean, your consistent prayer and just talking with God and connecting there in itself gives a healing. He hears us. He hears us when we pray, and we have these desires in our heart for our children, and he knows those. But in addition, God has a desire in his heart for us because we're his children.
We're his children. Exactly.
And so it's an interesting concept if we look at it as our children, we're focused on trying to fix them because they're not obeying, if you will. But yet, what are we doing to our God and our Father? And so that's where my response that I've been working on is, okay, God, what do you want to do? And I want to obey you. And then that in turn has been helping me, because I will very easily express to my daughter, God is in my life and here's what he's doing for me. And I think if we don't experience that, then we don't have a story to tell about how God's working in our life, so that we can then tell our children.
Yeah, that's true.
And then also our other children, right? Our other children who aren't in this mess, they are the ones that are also watching us.
And they're affected
and
by it as
they
well.
could see that we're strong because of Jesus, and that's how they're going to continue forward. Because my other daughter is, same thing. She's like, using her, or I shouldn't say using, but she's going to God for her comfort as well. So that, and then she's seeing that example from me, and go in that direction.
Yeah.
So I think it doesn't feel like that's what we want to do, but it is definitely something I know I've been working on, is that obedience of, okay, this is where I need to be. And I was just telling Cathy, like on Sunday, I had to talk to my daughter, and I didn't know what to say or how to say it or what I needed to do or how to react. And I didn't go to my book right away, which is probably not the best thing, but I did go to church. And even though I didn't necessarily want to go to church, I did it and I went. And the sermon was all about how to speak kindly to others and how to use your words for encouraging, how to do, and I was like, okay, God, thank you. Because that's just exactly what I needed at that point in time.
He has a way of giving us what we need when we need it. It comes, not necessarily where we think we're going to find it, but
exactly.
Hey, I want to say my mom's watching. I saw Ruthie Brown on there watching somewhere. My mom was a hurting mom because I was a bad child. So I heard her. So my mom, she's 91 years old, and she's watching, and she's on the computer. And Jill, saying that you're not computer savvy. Let me tell you something. You are watching this. Right. You are on Facebook, and you can be in an online group using your phone, an iPad. It doesn't have to be a computer. There's an app that you get, and we walk you through it. It's really super easy. So it's not just about getting on the computer and have to do a whole bunch of things. I don't even know how to. I'm not computer savvy. I've been shocked about how. I feel like I'm pretty techie just doing this right now.
Oh, yeah. I'm impressed. I'm impressed that you figured out how to work it out after it failed on us for a minute or two.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Yeah. So you were telling me earlier about like a couple of places in the book, in the group that you were in, that like really stood out. You were talking about where you have to list the positive things. Yes.
So the part of the response, one of the activities of responding to your child was to write 10 positive things about your child. And I do feel like because of this book, I was able to do that when I talk to my daughter. I always like, okay, you tell me 10 things about yourself that you think is positive. And then I try to add to them and tell her, well, this is what I think. This is what I think. And I don't think at the very beginning, I could even write 2 words.
No.
Yeah.
That's what, that is a hard assignment. So there's an assignment in the book that says, write 10 positive things about your child. And almost like moms will come back to the group and say, well, I only could come up with 3 or 5. And one of mine for my daughter was, she's a good pet owner. She takes good care of her pet. Yes. I was grasping at straws trying to come up with things. And that reminds me about how many of you, I know you've all experienced this, have gone to buy a card for your child, like a birthday card or a card, and they're all talking about how I'm so proud of you and you make our family so happy. And I can remember standing for like an hour looking at cards, putting them back, looking until I just get some kind of benign card. And it's sad. It's sad. We want to be able to say those things to our child, but it's so difficult when we're in the midst of this, and we feel angry. We're angry about it. So,
and we're hurt and hurt. What something that has really been on my radar as well 2 years ago is when I decided to finally go to CR and
celebrate recovery.
Celebrate recovery. And I think just the term hurt people hurt has helped me realize that my daughter is hurting. She's going to hurt me. And so what can I do to help her hurt by not, even though I'm being hurt and I'm totally hurt and I have to deal with my own pain, and I get that. But the other part of it, it makes me look at her a little differently, knowing that she's hurting as well.
And knowing that, but I think that's what's so hard about it, is because we as moms have always been the ones that take, from their time they're little, they skin their knee, they get hurt. We help them. We're the ones that take care of it. And so now we get into this where they're hurting over other stuff and over mostly their own choices that they're making. And the reality is we can't fix that, but we're not, it takes us a while to realize that because we're wired to be the nurturers. Melissa asked where the book can be purchased. You can go to our website, hurtingmomsmendinghearts.org, and go to the store and you'll see it there. The books are there.
Yeah. And I agree. I think at one point in time, somebody asked me, how are you standing? And I saw somebody's comment about standing on the God's promises. that was my thing, is standing on Jesus. Jesus
Yeah.
is the only one that's holding me up at the point when I was just horrible. And I think every time that rug gets pulled under, that's the only thing that's helping me stand. And then, the whole build your foundation, on a rock versus on the sand. I think that's the other part of the focus of God, is when our focus is on God, then we can put that foundation is a rock that we can stand on when things start crumbling around us. Yeah.
And that's what's happening, right?
Right.
We do feel like everything's crumbling around us. It's
the other thing that it did say in the book was about writing a letter, and we were and we were joking, sort of. We have a little care and community group that we meet every 2 weeks, and one of the ladies I think she's gone through it 3 times, and she's like, I haven't written that letter yet. I'm like, well, that's okay. Sooner or later you can write it, but it's a hard thing to do. It's a very hard thing to even write the letter. And you don't have to send it,
No, you don't have to give it to them.
Yeah, but it's very
right?
therapeutic. I'll tell you that, to write that letter, it just gets all of your stuff out, and you can rewrite it and rewrite it and rewrite it until it becomes something that you're willing to give to.
Well, and it changes from week to week too.
Exactly.
It's changing what you're going to say.
Exactly.
And just understand this, moms, in this book and in these groups, everything we're doing is for us, not for them. Right. So you're writing a letter to your child, but it's really for you. It's your own therapy, if you will. It's your own way of being able to express your heart, whether or not. And I've talked to moms who have given the letters to their kids, and other moms don't. That's not the important part. The important part is that there's something really helpful and really healing about getting things out of our head and onto paper. Like, totally. Put it then we can read. Otherwise, I get all this stuff rattling around in my head. Yeah. And it's not healthy, and it's disorganized and chaotic. But if we can put it down on paper, and so that's part of the purpose of that. I don't know if any of you journal or write, and journaling isn't for everybody. I know there's people who say, I can't journal, but if you have a opportunity to just write some of your stuff down, your thoughts, it helps. Norma says for years she had a hard time picking a birthday card. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really.
So it's interesting about the letters, and you were talking about your mom being online.
Yeah.
And my mom passed about, I guess, 22 years ago. And in the midst of my daughter's stuff, I was cleaning the garage. And I have moved probably 2 or 3 times. And I was going, my husband's like, okay, we need to go through these boxes. So I'm going through these boxes of my memorabilia. And I swear, this is so a God thing. But I'm in a filing box where everything's filed up and down, and laying right on top is a letter made out to me. On top, not stuck inside a folder, just laying on top. And it's a letter from my mom. Wow. And she was a hurting mom. And it was really hard to, hey, Melissa! It was really hard to hear that my mom was a hurting mom. Because here I'm thinking, my daughter's like screwing me over. And I'm like, dang, I did it to my mom.
So she was, the letter that she had written to you, and here she is, she's long gone.
Oh, yeah, 23 years.
The letter she had written to you was like as if you had written it to your own daughter.
Oh, I was reading it out loud, and my husband was listening. Crazy. And he goes, did you write that to Kendra? And I'm like, no. This is from my mom to me. I mean, almost to the T, the things that I had said. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, it's, sometimes, I don't know. It is, I think I didn't realize, I mean, I knew that I was hurting my parents, through some of the stuff I went through, but it wasn't until I became a hurting mom that I really understood the depth of my mom's pain, what she went through with some of the stuff with me. And I want to say also that it was my becoming a hurting mom and what I went through with my daughter, is what brought me back to the Lord. I had traveled far away from God for a lot of years. You and I have similar stories like that, marriages, alcohol, you name it. And I had traveled far away, but when I was so broken and so much pain, and it's like, and we all know that feeling, that desperate feeling of I got to do something, and we can't do anything. If this is out of our control. We're used to being able to control our kids.
Right.
So this is really foreign.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know where else to turn, and I turned back to God. And he was so faithful. And ever since then, I've had this amazing relationship with him. But I think he uses these things. He uses our time of pain. He uses our time of despair to get our attention.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I know for a fact that my relationship with God has strengthened 1,000,000 times over because of this pain. And I think, that was my, if you will, wake up call of, stop trying to control everything and just let me be your daddy.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about? I have my own daddy issues. And so it's like, what do you mean be daddy, And I mean, the closeness that I've gotten lately, it's like I said this earlier, it's like this dad that's picking me up out of bed saying, come on, you can do it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I got something for you. Keep going.
Keep going. One foot in front of the other. Yeah, but I think we all can relate to that feeling of just wanting to curl up in a ball and, I don't know. It's just everything is so difficult. Yeah. Everything is so hard.
You think if you go back to sleep, you'll wake up and it was just a dream.
You wish it would be. And I don't want to forget about the fact that some of us have been going through this for many years.
Yeah.
Many years. There are moms going through this 15 years, 20 years. I mean, it isn't like, and there's other moms who, have a bout of a year or two and things get better, but
and then they get
then all of a sudden the rug gets pulled out from under you. But you know what?
You never know.
That's why we need each other. That's why we need this community, because
it was the first thing I do is I reach out to the girls that I've been working with or seen or that and it's definitely a good thing. That community is really important.
I don't think I even realized that when I first did this. I put this together because of my own pain. I was kind of selfishly for myself. And I didn't even realize at the time. I've learned so much through it. It isn't like I'm some scholar about this. I just realized as we've gone along, oh my gosh, this whole community thing, realizing we're not alone. Because we feel like we're the only one. And you know why we feel that way is because we don't talk about this. There's shame involved.
Oh, shame, embarrassment.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing.
We don't want anybody to know, so we don't talk about it. And guess what? Somebody else sitting right next to you in church or in line with you at the grocery store could be going through the same thing, but she's not talking about it either. So you don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that's when there's, as sad as that is, Melissa, wake me up when it's over. 6 years for Teresa. I think it is as sad as that is that there's so many of us. There's something comforting about it. There's something in that to know that we have each other, and that we're understood, and that we can support and encourage and lift each other up and pray for each other. I say this every week. I pray for hurting moms. I kind of wake up praying for you and go to sleep praying for you. I mean, I get emails and I'll see Facebook posts and I just stop for a minute and pray for that person. And we can all do that. There's so much power in prayer. And then when we gather together, we raise our voices together. So moms, just pray for me, pray for Judy. We all pray for each other. It will make a difference. It does. Hi, Shanna. Shanna was in one of my groups. And there's Norma. She's been going at it for 15 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So do you have any other words of wisdom before we're already ready to?
I do want to say, go have some fun somewhere. Like, I don't know.
Like a cruise?
A cruise, a massage. We found our group, one of the ladies found a place where you could do a massage for $20. There's things out there that are cheap and good for you. Just take some time for you. Even if it is just to journal, even if it is to just go outside and enjoy the weather, or, stay inside and enjoy the weather. Just take care of you.
That's so true. We take care of everybody else. And there's times where we can take care of. I've had a lot of moms tell me, like, for example, gardening.
Yeah.
A lot of moms like to garden. It's therapeutic. Go out there and dig in the dirt, plant some flowers, things like that make you feel really good. Whatever you like to do, whatever is life-giving to you. In fact, I'm going to ask that question next week. This week, during the week, between now and next Thursday, I want to encourage you, if you're watching, to do that thing that gives you life in the next week. Find a way to spend some time doing something for yourself. And next week, I'm going to ask that question. What did you do this week that was for you? What did you do to give yourself life? And so, with that, we're going to finish up. Again, please, 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 if you have not been in a group, if you don't have this book that is going to be a lifeline for you and give you the tools you need. We can talk all day about surrendering our kids, but this will give you a process for being able to do that. And I know it worked for me.
Oh, it definitely worked for me.
I think a lot of people noticed the difference. So, love you all. I'll be back next week. Have a good week. I love hearing from you. Feel free to put posts on the Facebook page and email, and take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. God bless.